Hey, brothers and sisters, what's up? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again. Let me start breaking this down real quick. I'm sick and tired of this dude, and he don't speak for any of the good Afro men. And I've never felt as strongly about this as with other people is because this dude pretend to be so-called pro-black, but everything he asks the Afro man, the good Afro man, to do is destructive to that Afro man, especially given the laws of the United States. All right. Not only that, this dude failed to call out these black women when they was full of their BS. So I'm saying this dude need to shut the F up, wanting Afro men to date the single BW mom who rejected the good Afro men in the first place. So we're going to go over the very reasons why dudes should not listen to clowns like this, because they don't have our best interests at heart. All right? And why we should go it alone. We have no black leadership in the Afro community anymore. Me, I'm not in the military, I was a leader because that was my job. But out here, I'm trying to show y'all that, brothers, we need to start thinking independently of these clowns. We need to gather information from those who have information to make decisions for ourselves. And if we're going to do what's best for ourselves, which is ultimately going to be what's best for the community as a whole, because as Afro men, we're the leaders, then and only then will we see a change in the behavior, not of all these females that's gone before us, but the females that's coming up. And the best way we can deal with that is by leaving them alone and going outside of the United States and finding someone somewhere else, regardless of color. All right? So, let me greet everybody. Howard and Hardu Guda. Ola oi to the bang, vasas los. Bonjour, mes amis. Kedu bauni konnichiwa. Ni hao ni ama, sani bonani. Jambo herbayagani. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Kamusta ka, kamusta pokayo. And talafa lava soy for to my brother out in Hawaii. What's going on? All right. So, let's get into this. First, let me show you what the BWs have taught their daughters throughout generations, not only by example, but they've trained them to reject good men. This is all the reasons why we should not have anything to do with the single mama, the single BW mom in America. One, the laws in America are not conducive to a good man having a good life with such a woman. It would be nothing but a pain. The other thing is, these are women that never respected you in the first place. So why would you go where you're not appreciated or tolerated? If you want to do something, go change the family court laws. That's the first step in the right direction. Because if he knew any better, then he also would know that the best place for a child to be when he can't be in the home of his mother and father is with the father. But no, this dude ain't preaching that. So let's take a hard look at what's really going on. Okay, so y'all remember this, right? Now, pay attention. This is what the BWs have taught their daughters.
Raise your hand if you're married. None of you are married. Raise your hand if you would like to be married to your baby's father. One.
Now understand this. All them women at teenage years have children from a dude that they don't want to even marry except for one. And then they laugh at the one because that's a strange thing. All right, pay attention.
The rest of you who don't plan to get married, why don't you plan to get married? I'd like to know that.
You already have your child to think about, and then a whole family to care for. You know, it's a lot of responsibility. And then you don't want the commitments.
I wouldn't want.
So they got a baby without wanting the commitment or the responsibility.
No man holding me down.
That woman don't want no man holding her down. So she brings her child by herself, and by that child self in the most horrendous life possibilities ever. Okay? Who taught her that? Feminism. Who taught the other woman that? Feminism. Who taught them girls to laugh at the woman that wanted to marry her baby daddy? Feminism. These black single moms taught their daughters this stuff.
Because I think I can make it as a single parent.
But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man?
Not really. I didn't have a father. My father wasn't in the home.
Look at how that girl looked at her. Because she know it's hard. Right? But these are girls that depended on welfare.
So, you know, it really, male figures not substantially important in the family.
Who taught these girls that male figures are not substantially important in the family? Yes, it was their mothers, by example and by the words that were coming out of their mouth. It's the feminism. This is what took over. This is what happened at, it took over in the 70s. This is the 80s. This is the 80s, where a child has no chance because of the decisions of the mom. All right, so let's start breaking some more stuff down. Okay, a woman a while back wrote 8 reasons to date a white man in Madame Noir magazine. Her name was Anne-Marie Anyango, right? And so she gave you every positive myth about white men while at the same time bashing the good Afro men with every negative myth. We'll just run down them. You can freeze this and read her reasoning, which turns out to be flat out lies. But when you're an African or African American woman, all right, trying to throw Afro men under the bus in America, then this is what you do. All right, they're open wide instead of down low, not looking for someone to take care of them. And why is it that most of the BWs that get with Caucasian men make more than them and are essentially financially taking care of them? Only they let the Caucasian man be in charge of their finances once they get with them. All right, they attend and graduate from college, right? And at least attempt to marry before making babies. Okay, well, wait a minute. Then explain why is it that more Afro men are married than so-called black women? Why is it that most of the children that the black women have, they're having from dudes that got out of prison? Why is it that most black women, 59%, have multiple children from multiple babies' daddies? And why is it that 60% of the Afro men that have multiple children from multiple babies' daddy, baby's mama, why is it they're criminals, dudes that just got out of prison and jail? Oh, we could ascertain from the evidence that that's what black women like. So they need to get out of here with this BS right here. All right. They don't glamorize ignorance. Okay, what do you mean white people don't glamorize ignorance? All the ignorance coming from Afro people on TV is the epitome of the Caucasian corporations and stuff glamorizing it so that the BWs can poison their children because they know that the BW, understand this, they know that the BW uses the TV to babysit her children. Financial planning and stability. Well, most Afro men do that, but they don't want the Afro man to be in charge. Why? Because most of the slave owners who were black were women. And they're not used to giving up that authority over their family members. Yes, family members. And the men that was thrusted upon them by the Caucasians. All right. Now, we could use that, but F that. There was a time when Afro men did run the communities, and it was the best the black family or Afro family or indigenous family had ever done in the history of this country, despite Jim Crow, despite slavery. Okay? Oh, but here's the key. They have the ability to look beyond your past. So the BW want to sleep with all the thugs and stuff, and then they want somebody to forget it, right? But the Caucasian men aren't marrying them like that. They're throwing themselves at them, but they're not marrying them like that. No one is. Like I said, more Afro men are married than black women. About 10 to 14% more. Don't take everything as a challenge to their masculinity. Why don't the Caucasian men have to do that? Because the BW don't challenge their masculinity. The only people that they try to emasculate are the Afro men. So we don't need to marry them. We don't need to have anything to do with them. We need to just leave them alone. Go somewhere where we are appreciated, and understand that in the black community run by these women, we're not even tolerated. Not if you're a good dude. All right, pay attention. All right, so this blows a hole in that whole argument. This blows a hole in their whole argument. The Caucasian man and what he did to all those children in jail. This is why he was the coach of Penn State. All right, 70% of Afro men take care of home. That is according to the New York Times and the CDC and all that who did this study. 68% of them pay their child support. More Afro men graduate with a better than a bachelor's degree, not just the 2 year, and they didn't even count the trade school. But more Afro men graduate with a better than, and is twice as many graduate with a better than bachelor's degree than there are Afro men in jail. And still the BWs will go and choose the Afro men in jail to be with, which is why there are more Afro men married than BWs in the United States. All right? At least attempt to marry before making babies. But wait a minute. But wait a minute. 72% of black children are born to single mothers. Twice as many as women have children than Afro men. So it's the problem is not the Afro men, it's the BW. It's the black mothers. They're the ones having all these babies from a minority of Afro men. All right? Because most Afro men aren't making babies. So this is another lie by an ignorant woman that wanted to lie about Afro men. Okay? They don't glamorize ignorance. Remember the show, Jackass? Alright? All black reality shows are watched by black women. Scandal. Alright? That ain't us watching that. That's them watching that. That's the black women. And when they're watching it, they're having their daughters watch it. This is the thing, like, they have the ability to look beyond your past. And I said this about this, that this is an oxymoron, because no man like 304s. We're not supposed to marry women with children. If they have children, they need to send them children to the father. Because if you marry a woman with another man's child, then biblically you are committing adultery, especially if that man is paying child support. Now, if she decides that it's over and the man decides it's over and she gives that child back to that man, then only then is she free to be married. But if she's had her walls worn out and busted down like an old used car, then the best she can be is a concubine. That's why it is better for us to leave. And we need to stop listening to clowns like Boyce, Waistins, trying to tell us to do things that is contrary to a good community and contrary to the happiness of an Afro man. These clowns like this, all right, these plantation keepers, feel like it's their job to keep us on the plantation, to keep the plantation manager, that would be the BWs, happy so that they could get paid off of the suffering of the Afro men who's committed no wrong against these women or the community. Wow. Having us take on the responsibility of the ones that's doing the damage to the community. No, let these women suffer and let judgment handle its business. We need to get out of the Most High's way. For those of you that don't know who that is, we, the Afro men, need to get out of God's way as he judges these BWs. All right? And so, we don't need this. Remember, while he's going off and he wants to do that to a woman that kicked him to the curb in her youth, this tells us a lot about his character. All right? And she has another man's child. We can't listen to him anyway. And the reason why we can't listen to him is that he's committing adultery right now. Unless she's going to give back that child support or give that child back to the father, he's committing adultery. All right? And he's a simp. Not because he likes black women. Because the one I'm talking to down here is the darkest thing going. But she's beautiful. Right? Y'all seen her. For those of you who've seen my live. All right? But this was a woman that rejected him, went to another man, had a child, and then came back to him. We're not even supposed to tolerate that in our community. All right? All the people that he supported, like this woman here. All right? Yvette Cornell. She's not even interested in men, much less Afro men. All right? All the people that he supported was contrary to the health of a community. Because the health of community is a nuclear family, an Afro man and wives raising children. Anything else is death. Women who abort the children is death. Women who like don't like men and think that the healthiest relationship is with their same kind, that's the instrument of death to a community. Because you're not having children. Okay? And don't give me this adopt crap either. That's the Caucasian backout scheme to keep continuing to do evil. Alright? So we shouldn't listen to this clown. At the end of the day, alright? At the end of the day, these women left us a long time ago trying to get that Caucasian prize. Alright? So, we just need to let them go. They left for thugs, let them go. They left for the Caucasian, let them go. They left for everybody and left us standing there. So now that we got our passport and we decided to leave them alone and go after the Caucasian woman. All right, now everybody want to get bent out of shape. What? The Afro man is happy? No, they created this house of fire. All right, they took us from out of the frying pan into a burning house. Let them hit that wall alone. All right, this is a no depolicing zone, and clowns like that need to get on. You need to get out of here with that mess.